Good morning everyone, and welcome to this week's garden update. And what a week it has been. I'm sure many of you have already heard that along the east coast of Australia over the last few days we have experienced extreme flooding. It has been quite devastating for a lot of people. They've lost their properties, their businesses, their livestock. It's been unbelievable, and these are mostly the same areas that went through the bushfires and the drought and now this. But I'm telling you, Australian people are so resilient, and I know we will get through this, but at the moment they're going through a very tough time, and my thoughts are with them all. Let me tell you a little bit about where I live. So on Saturday, the town down in the CBD got an evacuation order. It looked very close to flooding, and thank goodness it didn't. And then again on Tuesday there was an evacuation warning. It was a bit hectic around here, but fortunately again our town was spared, and I feel very grateful for that. Back in, I think it was 2016, it was completely flooded, and it was just so devastating, particularly for all of the local businesses down on the main street. So just I'm pretty relieved, to be honest. When it comes to my garden, we did get quite a lot of water in here. There was lots of streams and little ponds everywhere, and I know I'm smiling now, but I have to be honest with you, I was quite stressed this entire week. Yesterday and today I'm starting to feel a bit more normal again, and I feel bad saying I was stressed because, you know, I didn't lose anything, but it's just the unknown, the uncertainty, and when you're hearing all those warnings you just don't know what's going to happen. Anyway, I'm feeling great today, and I'm looking forward to showing you around. There's lots to see, so let's get into it now. It feels so good to have blue skies again. The girls are enjoying being out of their coop. I kept them in there for a few days because there was just way too much water, and you know, I just knew that if they stayed in the coop they were in a safe place. I gave them lots of extra treats when they were in there, but I think they much prefer foraging around the garden and finding all the little bugs, and there's definitely a lot of them around at the moment. They've all come up to the surface, especially those insects and bugs that were underground. Like, have any of you seen those videos of the spiders all over people's back fences and garage doors? I'll put some links down below to those videos. Definitely worth checking them out. I think they may shock some of you. I'm just happy that they're able to wander around the garden again. Now the only thing is, it is that time of year where I'm going to be putting my seedlings back in the ground, and I'm going to have to keep an eye on them because I know these girls love digging them out. I think I might have to start taking my little wire meshes out from the shed and cover those seedlings, because I definitely think if I don't do that, these girls will make a right mess. Something I've noticed in the garden that's a little bit concerning is that a lot of my larger fruit trees are drooping over quite a lot. Like this here, this is the lemon tree. The canopy is normally up here on top, but you can see just here on this branch, for example, it's completely fallen over. Still attached to the main trunk. I'll go a little bit closer. I'm not sure whether, well, it could actually be a combination of the heavy rainfall, and then also perhaps the fruit that are on the branches, the lemons, have absorbed a lot of the water at quite a rapid pace, causing the tree to be unable to hold up all of the extra weight. I've come in a little bit closer to show you. So this is the main section that I'm most concerned about. It's just hanging over here, and I'm thinking maybe I may be better off just removing some of these lemons. You can see if you come down this way, they're absolutely covered in lemons, all of these little branches, jam-packed with them. And perhaps if I remove some of these, it just might take a bit of the strain off this main branch that's here, or do I just leave it? I don't know. I'm just gonna have to think about it, because it's only something really that I've noticed today. I haven't been out in the garden. I did try and come out here and record some of the mad rainfall, but I ended up just going inside because I was finding it a bit too upsetting and stressful. Anyway, I'll have to have a think about it. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I probably will remove some of these. Yeah, so it's like this on the lemon tree, and then just across the way, let me see if I can just move around this way. That's over there is our main orange tree, and it's doing the same thing. Like this branch here is hanging over quite a lot as well. I have to prioritize the tree over the fruit, so I may have to remove some of the lemons and oranges. There's Autumn, look at her, she's in the middle of the nasturtium patch, scratching around the place. She's such a funny little chuck. So here, for example, I've got a lot of this going on in the garden. This is my Mexican sunflower plant. This has fallen over like many other plants in the garden, but you know what, I am so grateful that we are actually coming into a new season. Like if this had happened in the middle of summer when everything was just starting to grow, I'd be pretty upset now, but I know we're at the end of, you know, the warmer months, and a lot of these plants will be coming out anyway, so even though they are a bit damaged, it's not really that bad. And I'm excited to get my winter crops in. I cannot wait to get this garden transitioned into winter and planning for springtime. Speaking of planning for springtime, I have an absolute massive job ahead of me in here where the raised garden beds are. And that job is that a lot of these beds will need to be replaced. I really definitely underestimated how much work is going to have to go into this. Let me just show you what I bought today. Today I bought some new raised beds. I only bought 2 of them because I haven't tried these ones out before. I got them from Bunnings for anyone who lives here in Australia, and that's not necessarily a recommendation. If I were you and if you had the money, I would pay more money for better quality raised beds, but this is something that will do for the moment. These came in a flat pack and they cost $20 each. So Bunnings here in Australia is the equivalent, I think it's Home Depot in America, or say in Ireland, Woodies. So these are definitely not a long-term garden bed, but they are affordable, and I need 10 of them. They cost me $20 each, so $200 is much better than spending hundreds of dollars. It's what works for me at the moment, so this is what I need to do. So the thing is, I thought it would be easy just to replace the old beds with this one, you know, slip one off and slip one on. Silly me, I don't know why I thought it'd be so simple. Look at this, it's not like the soil that was in the beds has started to fall out, and it just won't go over as easy as I had thought. So I think this is going to be a massive job for me to do over the next few weeks, but definitely one well worth you know, putting the effort and time into. Here, for example, is one of the older beds. You can see that it's starting to get quite rusty. Some of them are falling apart, like this one's particularly bad, and I don't really want to be growing food in these beds with this kind of rust. It's not really very healthy. So definitely have to replace all of these. I think maybe in the future I may look into perhaps even having raised beds made out of wood. At least when they kind of start to break down, they will feed the soil rather than being left with this waste that will just have to be thrown out. The one really big advantage with all the rain that I've noticed is that it has stopped the fruit flies from damaging all my chilies and capsicums. So I remember a couple of weeks ago I opened one of these up to show you that the inside was riddled with little maggots from the fruit flies, and now they don't seem to have damaged these too much. Oh no, that's all right there. You can usually tell because the outside gets a bit soft and squishy. So I have a few different varieties in here, and one that I've noticed that has actually started to ripen up, the plant is flopped over, the poor thing, are these ones here. My first time growing this particular variety, which is the AG Yellow. I actually bought this one as a seedling. Let me go and grab the tag, or a small plant I should say. So that's it there, and you can see here on the plant there's quite a lot of chilies on them. Some of them have ripened up, There are still quite a lot of green ones here, but hopefully now with the warmer weather over the next few days, this should really help these, get them ready and ripened so I can harvest them. I might actually try and make some chili jam. Maybe that's something I could do for next week. Beside that plant, I've also got these ones here, which I can't remember what they are off the top of my head. I'll have a root around, see if I can find the label. But I have a few of these too that have changed to red, so I'll be able to add that into the harvest for my chili jam. I just found its label. They're called Chili Red Hot Cherry. They're kind of cute, aren't they? If you've been following me for a while, you know that I love to grow dahlias, and I have quite a few around my garden. Well, the plants in all the different areas got completely smashed. So I've got two main areas. There's this section here and over here too. So it's not really above ground that I'm a bit concerned about. It's what's happening underground with the tubers. I'm just hoping that they haven't been damaged with all of the rainwater. I think they should be okay, especially on this patch here, because it is growing on a slope, so the water hopefully should just run off. But this is the first time in all my time growing dahlias that we've had this much rain. I'm not sure how they're going. They look okay. The foliage on top is still looking good. It hasn't started to curl up or show any signs of rot underground. So I'm just crossing my fingers now that over the next few days they'll still look fairly good and I won't lose any of them. There have been a couple of nice surprises with the amaranth varieties I'm growing. So I haven't really checked on the garden in about a week. Having a look around and wander with my morning coffee. And I was really delighted to see that this amaranth, which is called Perfecta, has started to put a bit of colour here on its foliage. Same with this one here, which is called Early Splendor. It has more of fiery tones to it, like reds, oranges, and a slight touch of yellow perhaps. And the two plants here seem to be very happy. I think they may even grow quite a bit now over the next week. So perhaps by next Friday I'll be able to show you a bit more of these. Here in the same bed are the zinnia plants. This is my zinnia patch out the front, and unfortunately I think it got a bit waterlogged here because some of the plants are starting to die back. Not all of them, only a few of them, but there are still plenty more. And you know what, I think I'm going to pick a bunch of these now. I do love zinnias. These ones are slightly battered from what they've been through this week, but they're still looking gorgeous, and I'm so grateful to have them here in my garden, to be able to pick lovely little bunches like this to bring into the house. Well, it's time for me to head off for this week. Thank you for watching, everyone, and I'll see you again next Friday.